as we have arrived here on Concealed Hill. Many wars were fought on this map already, especially over this Concealed Hill. Remo says it's his favorite map at the moment. Todd, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's one of the more popular maps that we see in a lot of the series that I play nowadays, especially with the map pool change now, where people are not super familiar necessarily with Tidehunters and Autumn Leaves just yet, so they're still being vetoed perhaps more right now than they will be in the future. I gotta say, Dise looks like a really nice guy, by the way. Like, I don't know why, but you know, he's like such a scary opponent on ladder. I was expecting some sort of like boogeyman, but he looks like a genuinely nice dude.
Yeah, from my few encounters with him, I can only agree with that. And the question here for Dise is, how nervous is he? He tried to qualify quite a few times in 2020 and almost failed at the last stages there. And now we finally made it very convincingly. So from the winter season here in Europe to summer in 2021, he made a big jump, but he didn't play an extraordinary number of tournaments, especially not of this tier or this caliber as DreamHack is. And he's up against a true veteran who has played, I don't know, 200 tournaments or more in the past couple of years. So how nervous is he, and can he bring his A game is the big question for Dise.
I think that Dise went about practicing, if you're a newcomer on the scene, exactly right. He played a ton of ladder, didn't care about stats. And then once he started getting good, he also played a ton of tournaments himself. He's almost like in every Open Cup. And he's gained so much experience in terms of competing. So I think the nervousness shouldn't be there in that regard. Like, obviously, it's more important now. We're in the big DreamHack. There's more on the line. But I think he's already gained so much experience that he should be feeling comfortable heading up into this matchup against HawK there, who is getting the 4th farm despite his weird movement here, not quite securing the small green turtle near his base. Usually if you head out there, it means you're playing one base. He might have been trying to trick Dise. And now HawK, this move out with the militia lines up very well with the Nightfall. He should wait. Yeah, okay, there it is. Nightfall is there, so he's going to be able to get close to Crypts without taking any damage. He's going to tank all the damage from the Null Overseer with the Water Elemental. And this is the experience here of HawK that he's using to try and go for an excellent creep and a good setup on the expansion. Dise not even using a single Wisp, by the way, on that expo.
Yeah, attacking very fast. Now it's all about that Null Overseer. Dise already got level 2, but HawK gets the big one. Plus a Claws of Attack, plus a Ring of Regeneration. That looks pretty good, and Dise is getting pretty much nothing out of this. One footy now goes towards the young Russian. That wasn't very destructive yet, but the push is not over.
Yeah, he needs to kill more. I mean, killing footmen is okay, but ideally you want to kill more peasants, I think. One of the footmen trying to get out. HawK gets the deny. Beautifully played here. Cloud infinitely helped with that. He gets the surround on the keeper. And this is the HawK that we know here at DreamHack, always showing up strong, delivering good games. And yet again, he does it here. Exactly. Very convincing creep of that expo, and now he can set it up easily.
I was about to say exactly the same. Remo wanted to curse him a little bit there. It's not the HawK that we know, but what does Remo know? HawK is always so impressive, especially in the group stages at DreamHack, where he oftentimes overcomes a couple of the odds. And Dise, he has some catching up to do now. It's not the worst state ever, as the expo, like it wasn't for free at all, but especially losing that town portal will really hurt him. Tier 2, almost done. Hunter's Hall is there in time, so he's not making that classic Night Elf mistake of forgetting about it. But he needs a big play to get back into this game.
It seems like we're never done doubting HawK somehow, you know? Like, yes, he had a bit of a stretch where he was playing a bunch of World of Warcraft. But after that, remember what happened. He played against Foggy, beat him, and ever since he's been super active, actually. Maybe not necessarily as much as before, where he was literally streaming every day, but he's a finalist in the tag team tournament. He's been going deep in some of the Asian tournaments that he took part in. And he's back in a really strong form, in my opinion. And it's showing here yet again. Dise, from there, I expect him to play fairly standard, just go into bears, try to expand at some point. Unless he wants to try and stay on one base for a very long time, which on this map is also pretty common.
Pandemonium Todd, the newly buffed Panda, a couple of more stats to his chest, and also an increased damage cap on the Breath of Fire, which will be very, very helpful. And he's already having a little bit of an impact here. Water Elemental killed, that Footman will also go down, and Dise, step by step, coming back into this game with no tier 3 tech yet, but double lore, second hero. Ooh, HawK making another play here with the Telestaff.
Yeah, and Dise not ready at all for this. He has to use his own staff. It's actually very nice for him that he had that. If he didn't, it would have been a disaster here. I think maybe his 3 buildings would get cancelled, but now he can come back quickly enough to entangle one of those footies. Could do the same to the Water Elemental, because usually that's the main damage dealer. So during those rushes here, you want to entangle the Water Elemental a lot of the time, but maybe saving the entangle for the next one. Goes for the detonate, actually. Keeper is almost 3.5. Panda gets level 2 in the meantime. When is there going to be, or is there going to be an expansion at all from Dise? I think it's even more encouraging for him to go for it with his buildings being cancelled now.
Pretty smart to not wait until the Archmage is out of that base to rebuild the structures here. We see on the left-hand side the first creep spot. Engine of Lore already at 50%, shop at 50%, so not wasting any time. He was also creeping at the same time, so good multitasking by Dise. Big invul potion for him, level 2.5 on the Panda, and getting dangerously close to 3 after the Crab and the rest of the Murlocs. Keeper is there to buy time, and time is also what HawK still needs, as his tech is at 50%, going for the Blacksmith, couple of rifles, so of course will then be the hard counter for the incoming Dryads.
Yeah, Dise is not getting a tree yet to expand with. And he's staying tier 2. He went for Nature's Blessing. Okay, there it is. He starts the tree in the main base. So his tier 3 is going to be very delayed. But he's going to take map control with a lot of Dryads. And I think try and play fairly aggressive. When he finally adds Staff for Preservation, by the way, he's going to have double staff to work with for that Panda, which is obviously very amazing. And yeah, Panda just needs one single kill to get level 3 here.
Would love to save his resources. He's going for the Footman here and for the Water Elemental. That's level 3 right there. A lot of units very, very hurt. Breath of Fire, Drunken Haze. These footies are burning. It's getting hot in the armor here. One down. Oh, can he get the last hits here? He kind of needs to. 1 down. 2 down. Third one. Dise has mercy with that soul. Ooh, good last hit here.
Yeah, now I'm curious, what units does HawK go into? What second hero? You know, like you have so much to pick from. We've been seeing a lot of Blood Mage seconds from very strong humans out there. Yeah, he goes for Blood Mage second. Does he stay tier 2? Does he play tier 3? That's the big question currently against Night Elf. Do you want to try one or the other?
Blood Mage it is.
And HawK very often on this map has been guilty of staying tier 2 for too long, you know, and playing with a lot of rifles, and then sometimes losing with 100 supply to mountain giants and lesser armies. But if he stays on tier 2, he might try and secure the center. But I mean, right now, there's not even the natural setup for Dise.
Yeah, he's also losing a couple of archers here, even denies them. But there was once again a couple of actions in quick succession for Dise. Forcing that staff of the Archmage with an entangle, then immediately starting the creep spots, take experience off the map of HawK. Because of course he can't really afford a high level Blood Mage. You don't want a high level Archmage because it's just so supported. Nice little move with the Wand of Illusion, blocking the Archmage and the Footman from reaching the backline, trying to do some damage against the Arcane Sanctum, but not necessarily enough. So the second building gets up and HawK is getting more and more kills here.
I think Dise might wait until Staff of Teleportation is back up with a cooldown and then staff that Panda back home, get full mana, full hit points, and then come back in. It's a good timing for him to fight that because there is no Dispel yet against Entangle and Trance. And you just want to keep the human down in supply. You know that he has a bigger economy than you because, you know, he fast expanded and he's pretty rich by now. But Dise also needs to find a decent timing for him to go export. So look at what he does. He keeps the Keeper forward and he sends the rest of his army to go and creep the Expo by themselves. That Panda is going to get level 4 from that.
Man, that's a big one. Also big item. Needs some healing for sure, but the moon wells are actually filled to the brim. Some of them at least. Tier 3 has started as well, so Dise will be competitive. The Blood Mage, what do you think of it? Especially against the upcoming bears. Usually only see it against what?
I think it's super strong because it helps nullify one of the biggest strengths of the opponent, which is the Panda. You know, it forces anti-magic potions, which you can still dispel So yeah, Blood Mage is really, really strong. It was about time. I predicted it a while back that we were going to be seeing more and more of him. The Siphon in particular is really good. In certain games, in certain matchups, Banish can be very good, but usually if you see Siphon first here, it's going to be with Flame Strike second, even though Banish still could be useful as well. And it also fully prevents a Demon Hunter third that some Night Elves have been going for. You know, if you go MK second, you still kind of get countered by Demon Hunter third. So then, yes, you can go Blood Mage third yourself, but then you might not have as much or enough heal. So there's this really weird dynamic where the heroes keep countering one another the whole time in Human Against Elf right now.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. The Tri-Hero of Night Elves becoming more and more of a thing here. Now, I think we're going to see 2 heroes, and then maybe Dise is hoping for 2 ultimates here, because Metamorphosis and Earthstorm and Fire are certainly 2 of the best. And speaking of the best, Legion Doomhorn, what a wonderful item for HawK from the middle, but he's getting sandwiched.
Yeah, Dise looking to engage. He's got the Enchanter 4 on the other side. HawK needs to disengage. The Breath of Fire is going to be huge here. And he has the big potion. He uses it immediately. And he's going to force the Town Portal out of HawK. Can he kill anymore? He's going to get one more footy. That was a great choice by HawK to TP immediately. If he had waited even like 10 seconds more, I think he loses 3 more priests, which would be an absolute disaster.
Yeah, the next Breath of Fire would have burned them all to a crisp. We take a look at the experience here in the graph. Dise still a little bit ahead. Of course, the tier 2... Whoa. Is this a Mountain Giant on patch 1.310? I thought they're disabled from Night Elf production buildings.
Yeah, they're able enough apparently, since it's going on. I mean, let's see how it does. But I like the choice. I don't know how much Dise has been scouting, but this is the way you need to counter this type of tier 2 army with a lot of rifles here. Like, this army literally does 0 damage to MGs once they get both upgrades. Dise may be fighting a little too much right now because he's out of mana on the Panda, but I think he was trying to use the fact that HawK was also fighting the Crepes at the same time.
There's also no hardened skin at the moment for this Mountain Giant, but HawK's not even attacking it. Blood Mage is doing an excellent job in siphoning mana from both of the heroes. Should be level 2 now. Dise still getting a couple of kills. Dryads needs to be moved. He moves them to the left, to the right. 360-degree micro right there. So that should be safe, I guess. But there's no mana to work with anymore. Very close to a level 5 Panda, though.
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to get, but he kind of overextended here. He shouldn't have lost as many Dryads as he did. You don't want to just purely mass Mountain Giants, so he made just the one, and now he's going to Bears. And I like that he already has built up a good Dryad count because they're building up on mana right now, and he's going to need a lot of that to not just abolish Water Elementals, but also dispel any slow that gets applied. And against Bears, you can always expect the opponent will be using a bunch of slow. He reveals the main base of HawK. He's asking all the right questions right now. He's like, okay, is this guy going for tier 3 at all? Do I need to get ready for that? And yes, you do need to get ready for that. Sees that Ancient of Wind on the way in the main base does... That's, the Fairy Dragon buff is crazy. Like, just wait until you see those guys in action.
Yeah.
Super important to get that, and great choice by Dise to go for it.
All right, they fight over the dragon. 3 red spots for HawK. You can't really afford that. Here we see the Flame Strike, also the level 5. So both are operating with fire. You fight fire with fire, basically. But HawK gets the last hit. And is it the 3rd aura? No, this time the Rune Bracers. This will probably go to the shop. I like the very early Shredder edition by Dise as well. He will never run out of lumber with that. Going for a little bit of a poke into that base as long as HawK isn't on tier 3. And I wonder, was this tier 3 queued because of that one Mountain Giant only?
Yeah, almost like a bait. He made one MG, he's like, go for Knights.
Exactly.
He's like, nah, actually, I'll go for Bears. But great move to try and catch off reinforcements. And HawK also has the great move to be like, okay, you're in my base, I'm just going to attack your expo, force the Town Portal. Can he dispel quickly against the anti-magic? Yes. And Panda's not working with that much mana right now. I'm surprised that the Staff of Telly hasn't been transferred here. You need to transfer that now and come back with full mana, I think.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a shop there as well for a mana potion, but you can't do everything, right? 3 bears in now. They, of course, burn against the flame strike, but that one wasn't too hot. Little bit of miss micro with the rifleman, sends them far into the front. And here we see the new fairy dragons, ladies and gentlemen. This damage is so crazy. It was kind of crazy prior to the patch, but they got even better, and they will have a big impact, as you said, for the remainder of the game.
Forces are under attack.
Yeah, you have no choice here. If you're the human player, you have to play with casters. So then you have to ask yourself, how do you counter these? Like, he has a few rifles. He has 2 of them. It's not enough. So you kind of have to go gyros. But then Night Elf can go for hippos and counter that. Double Chim Roost.
Yeah.
Dise with that last fight. He's happy enough with how the way it went to say, I'm safe for now. We're equal on supply, or I'm even ahead. I need to start countering your knights. And we actually see a mortar being made for HawK. He's getting master training for both priests and sorceresses. I wonder when he's going to make flying machines, if at all. He gets a second workshop. Okay, so he's planning the transition into flying machines to counter fairy dragons, which now he has spotted. And also you need to think about the chimps.
Both are playing such a great game. They know exactly what the other is doing, and they counter it pretty much perfectly. You see it here once again. Not only do we have Flame Strike, but now we have Blizzard as well. So HawK is singing the song of Ice and Fire against this. I wonder, the Sork Master Training, does he really want to use Polymorph on the Chimeras?
Well, as long as there is no fairy dragon around, maybe you can do it. But if there is, maybe don't. But yeah, it's only one sorceress. It's always hard, like I said, once you go castle, getting the exact right composition is very difficult. You kind of need to scout the opponent and then see what units he's getting himself, and then kind of counter from that. Second Enchant of Wind for Dise. So he might already be thinking himself about adding a lot of hippos to counter flying machines. I don't know if he scanned that double workshop, but he kind of feels like he knows.
We almost have every single unit of both parties on the map. Breakers, priests, Sork, mortar, flying machines, riflemen for HawK. Flag cannon upgrade coming, attack upgrades coming. We had 1-1 on the breakers, which I like to see. Damage upgrades 2-0 as well. On Dice's side, 1-1, so he's not forgetting about upgrades either. Plus going for the resistance skin upgrade on mountain giants, so the slow doesn't last that long, etc, etc. When will we see the Chimeras? He's very willing to go into high upkeep.
Yeah, you need to save for a while, I think, beforehand. I think he scouted, like, they're both playing it so well. I'm honestly, right now, it might feel, if you're watching the game, that nothing's happening. They're just kind of staring at each other, but actually they're doing both super well, exactly what they need to do. They're scouting the opponent's army, and they're trying to counter it. HawK saw a lot of Dryads. He's like, okay, I need mortars. I'm going to get +3 attack for mortars and for flying machines, because both of them need to be doing a lot of damage. Dise scouts that there is no knights. What does he do? He doesn't go for chimps at all. He doesn't need them. There's no knights anyway. So he tries to go into a lot of hippos instead to really counter those flying machines, and then have the fairy dragon do their effect, or in this case, the one single fairy dragon that he has. It's super well played. Now the engagement is going to be important, and HawK, he interfires preemptively a lot of his units, the mortars in particular, and here we go. I think we might have our big engagement coming up here.
That was a very quick engagement indeed. Flame Strike and Blizzard mostly hits the Dryads, but now the mortars are coming into effect with the frag shots, and this is so much AoE. Dise, how are you supposed to kite this? You're not the biggest dancer, as we see, my friend. Bears are getting grilled as well. HawK, it feels like he's so clearly superior in that fight and already has a 10 supply lead.
Yeah, his army was super strong there. It was a great engagement with the positioning. Dise maybe missing a few more fairy dragons. Now he's desperately trying to go for the Archmage to force the town portal out. He will get it, but he's already lost most of his army here. And that Panda not quite doing enough for Dise to win the fight. Like, HawK TP's out with 79 supply. Dise is still on 76, but his army doesn't look that... Oh my god, he forgot the flame machines.
Nah, he killed a fairy dragon before, so he sent them on purpose, I think. Now this is a little risky. Not getting killed off, as we have the next engagement here.
If that Panda gets 6, that's going to be some very costly flame machines that he left behind.
Oh yeah, that's true. But Keeper doesn't look too good. Rest of Dice's army doesn't look too good. He's building 2 additional mountain giants. So that's 14 supply. That's in the counter, but not on the map yet. So at the moment, the soup does lie. And HawK is pulling new militia. I wonder, is it an expansion or does he want to end this game already?
Yeah, I think Dise was too bear heavy. That was his problem here. And HawK picked up on that. So he made a lot of breakers and a lot of casters. And because he was able to counter the Fairy Dragon, again, there was only one of it, I believe. Then that's why HawK did so well in the fight. Super interesting that HawK stayed on 2 heroes, by the way. He never went for a third hero. He preferred to have the free supply instead, to go for 80 with pure army. We got the next big engagement. HawK is feeling confident. For him to attack like this, he doesn't have a temple.
Wow, and that against Entangle, of course you can dispel it. Going for the Blood Mage once again, but there's a big heal potion and a heal scroll on it. Ice and Fire are just reigning supreme over these bears. You see it once again. Keeper moved quickly out of the AoE, but the bears are, and don't double staff instead. The Gyros, of course, a little bit useless, but the Mortars are the crazy carries in this fight. He almost burned the Keeper, so close. Almost burns through 2 of these Mountain Giants. That is so hard and takes so long to do. First one down. Focus Fire continues on the second one. I don't know how Dise is supposed to win this anymore. Maybe
the Fairy Dragon is just flying there, doing nothing. Keeper, he can stuff, but he doesn't stuff with the Panda.
Okay, maybe gave up that one already. HawK, the greatest fights, and now we got level 6 on the Archmage as well. He seems to have a big fun casting this Flame Strike over and over, and Dise needs a bath, man. He can't fight this anymore. In the meantime, HawK pulled the Militia back, builds a Town Hall, and that is the stalemate breaker. You can still siege the base as well with the remaining water teams and this big AoE.
Yeah, you don't want to clump up your Moonwells against this combo. It's not doing too well right now. And I think this is what Happy was talking about earlier when I asked him about Dise. He said, you know, like, he's pretty good, but you can still tell that he lacks experience. In those fights and the way this game went, he did some things really well, but yes, you could still tell that there was a few things missing for him to be able to do slightly better. Archmage has mass telly, so he could actually get out here. But for some reason, he's waiting. Careful, HawK. You lose a few more units, that Panda's going to be 6. And then there's some real comeback potential. I love that he uprooted the Ancient of Wind, by the way.
Yeah, he doesn't need the hippos anymore. I think the gyros are all gone. He's freezing the giants and he's bursting through the stone. Has a potion on the Archmage, so that will be safe. Keeper is back, but has no mana at all, so what's he really worth? I mean, he does carry the orb. Heal Scroll on HawK's side. That is just a wild, and very successful fight. Wouldn't be too surprised if this is a dieback in a second. Dise still staying in this, though.
The experience really showing here, HawK. That was a great timing, the way he set up the engagement. Obviously, I think it's easier for him to set up those engagements the way it is. But Dise, you could tell from that fight, there was a lot left that he could have done better. Like a higher caliber Night Elf, I think, might have been able to win this.
Give me that!
Now HawK, level 6 and 6. We see the Phoenix!
Phoenix! Big
the orange
bird! Exactly, and that is GG. And once again, a favorite prevails. HawK takes this one, but definitely the most competitive match that we've seen today.
Dise looked very emotional, by the way, on the camera. Like, he just... he threw himself to the side at the end of the game. That was funny.
Great game between the two. And, you know, lots of humans have been struggling in the Supreme late game against Night Elf, but HawK knows exactly how to play. I feel like he's always so great at finding the perfect army mix. Why go Knights? He didn't need Knights. He had damage like crazy from his heroes with Blizzard Flamestrike, the super cool combo. And the Panda didn't look too impactful. Level 5 Panda, and he didn't even look too scary. Rare to see. Greatly played by HawK.
That was super impressive, man. The way this went back and forth, strategy-wise, and how they reacted to each other. This is WarCraft. Wonderful.
It sure is. And that was just the 1-0. Second map gonna be coming up soon after. But yeah, HawK again looking good here. But this was very much a very close affair. Dise, is he gonna try it again with a Panda? Or is it perhaps time to go back to Keeper Naga Demon? In that case, he would have more orbs to work with as well.
Okay, we hosted the next map, and this is the pick of Dise, who decided to go for one of the new maps that we haven't seen yet. We had a lot of praise for Tidehunters, rightfully so. And next one, Autumn Leaves.
Yeah, I expect actually both of them to play very similarly, but much easier map to expand on, which I mean, last game, HawK didn't really have any trouble expanding, but I think Dise might be able to set up his own expo much quicker in this one.
Yeah, that's something we talk about a lot. Like these expansions on Autumn Leaves, very accessible, easy to creep, but also kind of easy-ish to push as they're so close to the enemy base and a little open. Shout out to Tenchi for creating these.
Yeah, I wonder what creep route is going to be the most preferred one. Also, level 3 is going to be a big deal, right? Especially tier 2 creeping with second heroes has proven quite difficult on Autumn Leaves in some matchups. But here it's going to probably come down a lot to the early game again. And HawK looked good. Fast expansion seems to be the way to go for him.
Yeah, he set it up very easily, and then it was kind of weird because he had 60-ish supply, which you never really want. You either want to have, 50 or go straight up to 70 or 80. But the late tier 3 somehow worked out just because he mixed in units better. He just got a lot of casters. There was not enough fairy dragons to really contest them. And Dise overmade bears, I think, against Breaker Caster, which you probably would have liked to have more MGs instead. Then HawK might have made knights. So yeah, it's always this big battle of who gets which units. And yeah, Dise, like I said, he looked pretty emotional at the end of the game. That was interesting to see him moving around so much. Maybe he's feeling the pressure. That was a decent game overall, I would say, from him, but definitely some mistakes that could have been avoided as well in there.
All right, this is once again a clash of the Russian generations here. HawK, 31 years old, his opponent's 10 years younger, youngest player that we get in the scene. We asked for the go already, and we're about to kick this off here. Channel predictions are in as well. Go cast your votes, everybody. And here is the tale of the tape. So far in their encounters, seems like Dise had the upper hand according to the stats. He's making quite some strides and climbing up these rankings. At the moment, 52nd best player in the world, but don't let these numbers fool you. He's probably better than that. Just gathering some elo points here. First time Autumn Leaves in DreamHack Summer Open, or in DreamHack in general. Autumn Leaves and Tidehunters replaced Twisted Meadows, the legendary, and Terraner Stand. Most of the people are happy about that. Some veterans just shed a tear, especially for Twisted. I'm not too sure if Moon is okay after he heard that Twisted would be removed. And
I think he's gonna be all right. He's gonna wipe his tears off with the $500,000 he made playing this video game.
Yeah, he is pretty successful, especially recently. Feels like every tournament he's in, he's at least in the top 4.
It's crazy to still see him perform as much or as often as he does and still be on top of the scene. Like it's been so long. I don't know if there is anything quite like it across all of esports and video games. It is a very, very rare thing to have a player be as good as he has been for this long.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. There's no one that is like Moon, and there's no map like Autumn Leaves. Let's go. We have arrived. HawK in the red in the bottom left of Autumn Leaves, and Dise in the upper right. And I don't see an altar here, but before we go into that tavern build explanation, Todd, your ins and outs, your ups and downs here of Autumn Leaves.
I think I like the map quite a bit, first of all. And yeah, one of the tricky things in all matchups, and in this one as well, is how do you get level 3 if you're going to fast expand? Because usually you're supposed to do like 2 small green and then the orange, not in any particular order, and then that gives you like 2.5. So I'm really curious how HawK is going to do this. He might just be okay with getting 2.5 and then setting up the expansion, assuming he wants to go for a fast expansion. And Dise is doing something I didn't really expect him to do. I expected him to just play Keeper all the same as last game, maybe expand a little earlier, but play very similarly. When we see a neutral hero build against human these days, it's because of a Beastmaster play. So maybe he's playing entirely differently here against a perhaps unsuspecting HawK. Even though I guess Beastmaster, I have seen it before on this map. It is also one of the more popular builds that you can go for. Maybe second most popular after Keeper.
Yeah, definitely agree, especially on like Last Refuge. Sometimes on Northern Isles, Beastmaster can be really, really strong. Some players like Little Dise play a weird Naga first, which is all pressure, of course. I'm not too sure if Dise is a fan of that, rather standard. But yeah, I didn't expect it on this map. To be honest, I haven't seen a million games on this map yet. It's, according to the stats, a super balanced 50-50 map. And in 2 seconds, we're gonna have the answer. Panda, Beastmaster, Naga? No, Beastmaster it is. And HawK pretty much knows right off the bat.
It looks like HawK's gonna play aggressive here. Look, he's already moving out. And he scouted this immediately, so this tells me he's probably already played against this style here. And he wanted to be fully ready to know whether there's going to be a merchant crept very quickly. Because a lot of elves, they just creep the small grain first, which now we do see Dise start. Mostly because he's been scouted. He's about to lose a wisp. Wow, and he loses that one wisp, the footman in the main base. So slow reaction here on this.
I didn't catch it either. I feel with Dise. Didn't see that his base is under attack. Has the wolves against him. No 2 bears at the moment. This catches him quite by surprise, I guess, but HawK wanted to go for that deny. Didn't really work. Helps, of course, to make strides towards level 2. Dise didn't expect this, but now, after a little while, I think he has this under control.
Yeah, HawK, there was still a chance he could have gone for a 4th farm and then just crept the expo with like 2 footmen and a lot of militia, but instead, he's going for blacksmith now. He has the tech on the way, so it looks like just rifle caster play, with which you can still expo on tier 2, but you might just stay on one base the whole way. And instead, kind of like on Northern Isle, you know, you got those 2 camps here in the center. On this map, you can, if you think you're ahead, if you get your composition before the opponent, you can just creep both of them and then do a very strong push.
That was a crazy good last hit by HawK here, by the way. That got him the level 2, so the Brilliance Aura is working. But slowly but steady, it gets kind of hard to deal with the bear, even though it is level 1. Creeps woken up as well, so they aggro against the Ancient of War a little bit. Wonderful to see. HawK is pulling a lot of right strings once again, man. HawK in DreamHack shape.
Yeah. HawK gets underestimated too often. I'm sure he's sick and tired of hearing casters doubting him at this point. When he still seems to deliver every single time here at DreamHack. And yeah, the pressure here has been tremendous. Like, the tech differential is pretty massive. Actually, not as much as I thought, now that I check. So maybe HawK's tech was slightly delayed as well, and Dise definitely adjusted very well. Goes for the Hunter Soul now at a good timing when his tech is about halfway through done, so it should finish same time as his tier 2 finishes.
Beastmaster and Archmage both still fighting each other, both very hard. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Beastmaster usually an anti-expansion build? So how does it scale into the late game?
No, I mean, it's designed so that you can pressure, like kind of like the keeper. Oh, he's gonna have to TP. Woo! Gets one more footy, which is level 2. Yeah, I mean, with Archer like this, and with one Ancient of War, it's not exactly, you know, like all-in material where you just keep attacking and you do really well. But yeah, you can pressure with the bear, you can kill peasants. Sometimes you can even throw down the second Ancient of War if you see the human being too stubborn and go for like mass tier 1 with hunts and then attack. But the question is, what second hero we see from HawK here? Like, if you go Blood Mage, yes, it's good, you can drain mana, but then you don't have any cancel potential against Stampede if he was ever to be reached.
True.
So he goes for Mount Tanking. But now Naga is on the intercept course here for Dise.
Yeah, look at the stutter stepping. There's some Dota-esque movement. Definitely a kill on the Rifleman. And that is, of course, a loss that hurts. Oh, the block against it, though. That's some sweet little moves by both players. So second Rifleman is safe. That's, of course, a loss that hurts and also reduces creep speed. Not the craziest level 3 for the Mountain King especially, as now that Dise is stealing his natural away.
It's pretty greedy of Dise to start this camp here when the Mountain King is about to come out. Militia's coming in. Okay, that Mountain King wants revenge. Remember, there is no town portal for Dise. There's actually a chance this Beastmaster gets targeted.
There we go.
And maybe even surrounded.
Oh no, that's not good. Dise. Close affair. Can he fight out, or is the first hero just dead? It is so close. He's blocking himself. Next hammer to the back, and the Beastmaster falls, getting wet there as well. Oh boy. Yeah, there's another Stormbolt. Beastmaster bought back, super expensive. And he's trying to go for it again. No way.
Yeah, he fights out of this. Needs to run away. I think the second bolt by HawK was a little bit panicky. I think he could have maybe killed the Beastmaster with just a few hits from the Archmage and Rifle if he stutter stepped enough. And then he could have maybe killed the Naga, but definitely got an important kill on the hero here. And now oh my god, he kills another Wisp and gets 3 because of it. So Dise needs to be more careful with those detonates here. That was 2 Wisps that he lost without detonation. And now HawK is doing what I talked about earlier. He's just happy to creep the entire center, get a lot of XP, get strong items, and then do a follow-up push. And Dise, I mean, he has a choice between either going to the center and taking an unfavorable fight, or creeping smaller camps that are not going to do as well for him.
Between a rock and a hard place, pretty much wanted to play the tempo of the Naga until the Mountain King is out, but the Mountain King has mana again, 2 Stormbolts. Has to be a little careful himself, but here it is. No potential to being surrounded, but the damage looking very good. Priests are here now to heal up. The bear never really played to the full strength, which is of course level 3, but if you're constantly dead, you can't level up, and that's what bites Dise here. Naga gets level 2, but yeah, whatever. Second buyback.
He's gonna die again. He goes for the Naga instead. HawK pretty much out of mana on the Mountain King here. Ends up pulling back. I think that maybe that Robe of Magi now should be on the Archmage for a bit of extra damage. But he's traded really well here, and now he can just go and do the mercenary camp, which according to Happy should be a marketplace. Yeah, I'm sure he'd love that, to get a bunch of cloths on his lich and still destroy everyone like he already does.
I was thinking the same, like, do you want to make this a fall version of Northern Isles, my friend?
Autumn Isle.
Autumn Isle, exactly. Arc of Reincarnation, not what he was hoping for, certainly, but can save him in a situation or two. Trapper, is it finally level 3? Oh yeah, we unlocked the Bash Bear, and now he has to knock on wood and hope for Fortuna to get a couple of these random bashes to get back into this game, because it's still not looking good for Dise.
Yeah, there's a third priest about to come out, so these bears might not be bashing too much. And this is really desperate at this point from Dise. He doesn't have the economy to go into tier 3, so he just stays on a Tree of Ages, and he's just spamming Dryads out of those lores, which HawK is playing a mass rifle composition. The Dryad gets caught in the center, and the bear as well. Just keeps on going from bad to worse. Even if he somehow was to target heroes like crazy, the fact that HawK has an Ankh on the MK makes him super safe, and yeah, I just don't see how Dise is ever gonna win this.
Me neither. Needs a little bit of a miracle. Once again, target fire on the first hero. Staff out immediately. Dise is just running. Like, for him to play that, like, that was his pick. It feels like it's HawK's pick. He does everything so right. And that's 1 kill, that's 2 kills, that's more damage on that Beastmaster. That's not much mana anymore, and that is game. HawK reigning supreme, another favorite that takes the 2-0 victory.